Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. I am your humble French tarot reader and deck goblin Marie, and today I wanted to share with you some of my newest tarot decks, oracle decks, and books. We're gonna do a good old-fashioned end of the year haul. I love sharing you guys the new decks that have joined my tarot shelves, the new books I'm putting on my TBR. I love watching those kinds of videos from fellow creators, and of course, I couldn't finish the year without doing a little roundup of all of the goodies that have arrived in my mailbox in the last few weeks. So that's what we're going to be doing today. As per usual, all the names of the books, decks, tarot, oracle, all of that good stuff are going to be in the description box. If you're ever thinking, what the heck is this French frog saying? It's in the description box. I will be putting chapters as well, so you can navigate between the books and the decks. Just wanted to check in. I know we're nearing the end of the year, so I hope everyone is taking good care of themselves and is taking time to relax and to pause and hopefully maybe even spend some quality time with your cards. I have some amazing goodies to share with you, so they definitely are making the end of 2025 a lot more joyful. So we're gonna get straight in with books. I've got some non-fiction, I've got some fiction books. Let's do this. I have 3 non-fiction books and then I have 5, I think, fiction books. So I'm going to start with non-fiction, as I know this will please also my tarot lovers. The first one I have to talk about is actually a spread book. It's the Library of Questions by Lida Pavlova. This is a book of spreads. Lida is the creator at Modern Magic Press. They also do indie decks, for those of you who are not aware. One deck I have from them, actually I have 2. I have the Forgotten Legends Tarot and the Bird King Tarot. If I was a better YouTuber, I would have pulled out those decks and shared with you, but we know I'm not prepared, you guys. It's been years I'm doing this, and obviously, as you can tell, I'm still a mess. So I will make sure to leave the link to Lida's work down there. She has a really cool Instagram account where she shares fun memes and, witchy content. I really like what she does. So when I found out that she was doing a book of spreads, I was like, let me support, I think it's gonna be good. And I'm super excited to dive straight in. So as you're gonna see, we have different categories for these spreads. We have the magical spreads category, which is probably gonna be my favorite. It's all inspired by magical being, adventure, fantasy. We have things like the Cursed Books, the Frog Prince, the Magical University. These are spreads inspired by, I would say, fantasy books, things like that. Very up my alley, so I'm super excited about these. Then we have more practical spreads for relationship, for work, etc. And then we have a ton of self-care spreads, which I'm so pumped about because I'm always looking for more self-care spreads, so I'm excited about those. And finally, we have seasonal spreads. And then, of course, as you can see, we'll pick one at random. This is, well, there you go, the Magical University. It's a 4-card spread and it says, what knowledge does my life ask of me now? What or sometimes who can teach me that? What kind of student should I be? How should I learn? And what magic growth opportunities will this create for me? And as you can see, the layout is really sweet. We have little images here and there. We have some full pages illustrations sometimes. Really cool, in line with everything that Lida does. I used to create my own spreads religiously, and then this year, because I've had way less spoons because I've been dealing with so much chronic illness and chronic pain shite, I have really developed a love for using other people's spreads as a way to save myself some spoons. The spoons I'm not spending on spreads, I actually can spend pulling cards for myself. And so this year I've discovered I really like using spread decks, for example, or in this case spread books. So when I discovered that Lida was doing this one, I jumped on the occasion. I'm obviously gonna be using them for my second channel, the Waves of Your Soul readings, which, if you guys weren't aware, I have another channel where I pull the cards for you guys, monthly guidance, pick a pile. Definitely go and join us over there if you haven't yet. I would love to have you. So I'll be definitely doing pick a pile readings inspired by all of these spreads on my other channel, and I'm super pumped. So continuing in the non-fiction book, we have this one, How to Love Better by Young Pueblo. Young Pueblo is one of those authors that I love to follow on Instagram. Every time his quotes appear on my Instagram feed, it always resonates to me. It always feels like a nice little message from your therapist, I've been meaning to pick up some of his books. He has a few. I think he has a trilogy of poems. And I think, I don't know if this is his latest one actually. When did this come out? I'm not sure if this is his most recent one. Let's have a look. This is from Oh yeah, 2025. So I'm guessing that must be his most recent one. From the title, it says the path to deeper connection through growth, kindness, and compassion. And I've always wanted to read his longer format, as I really appreciate every time his texts come up on Instagram. So I decided to pick this one, especially because I am dedicated next year for 2026. I want to read more non-fiction books that either will be themes and subjects that I don't know much about, or things that I believe could make me a better tarot reader and a better person. And obviously, this being about connection to people and how to love others better, I thought this would be great for this little project of mine to read more nonfiction next year. So, table of content, you can see we have things about how to help love flow, the relationship between you and yourself. There's something about the art of arguing, the challenges relationship face, recovering from heartbreak, etc., etc. So it's not just about relationships, it's also about self-love. Again, I just really honestly wanted to dive into this author's work on a longer format because I really appreciate every time I see little excerpts from his book, so I'm excited. If you guys have read any of his books, let me know. I'm super excited to get into this, and this one is hardcover. I didn't think it was gonna be when I ordered it, but just so that you guys know, I don't know if you can get this paperback or not. The last non-fiction book, and I'm waiting on a few. I've really have been upping my non-fiction books, you guys, so there's probably going to be a big non-fiction book haul coming towards the beginning of next year. As I said, I'm trying to make 2026 my learned girl era. I want to be, as educated as possible, and which is why I'm really diving deep into the non-fiction vibe. But this one I've been meaning to pick up for ages, so finally it was time. It's the Post-Colonial Astrology, Reading the Planets Through Capital, Power and Love by Alice Sparkly Cat. You guys might know I've been really into my decolonizing my view of tarot thanks to reading Red Tarot. I'm also trying to read more indigenous authors, and so this is kind of like in the same work, obviously trying to decolonize astrology. I always thought this would be an interesting read, recommended to me by a few people who are really into astrology. I'm not an astrologer, you guys have a very basic knowledge of astrology, but it's always something I'm trying to learn a little bit more about. And this, like I said, it was highly recommended to me by a couple of people, so I trust them. Table of contents, we are talking about etymology of the sun, moon, Saturn, so it's kind of going through each of the planets, but it's always through this like decolonial lens and bringing that back to the modern day. So for example, for the moon, notes about gender, the global market, the interests of the people possessed. So I think it's going to be really interesting. This is obviously a very modern look at astrology that ties things back to all of the struggles and all of the problems that we face in modern day society. The back says that it scrutinizes astrology as a political practice and asks if astrology is a language, whose language is it? This is exactly the kind of questions I've been asking myself regarding tarot. So I'm very excited to be doing the same work regarding astrology, even though obviously, like I said, I don't have the same knowledge of astrology as I do with tarot. Tarot I feel very comfortable with, astrology not so much. That's why I wanted to deconstruct my knowledge early on, as I think that might be very interesting for me. This, as you can see, it says it's intersectional, inclusive, geared towards queer and BIPOC communities, and it's to redefine the body in the world and assert our politics of the personal in astrology and all things. Super pumped about this. It really goes in line with all of the work I've already started in my own personal, for the knowledge and spiritual development, I guess. Let me know if you guys have read this, if you enjoyed it. Please let us know in the comments. And of course, once I've read it, I'll come back and tell you guys. Usually in monthly favorites is where I share with you all the books I've read. And we're going to move on to fiction books. I'm going to have to break up my whole curriculum vibe with whimsical stories because I know myself. I'm going to need to escape from time to time from reality. So here are some of the fiction books I've picked up. First up, I have the French version of a book you guys can get in English. This is the latest book by Rachel Gillig. In French, it's Le Chevalier et la Phalène, but for you guys in English, it's The Knight and the Moth. This is a recent romantasy. It came out this year, and it was up for votes for Goodreads Fantasy of the Year. It didn't win, but I've heard really great things about this one, and I'm not a romantasy girly normally. I'm quite critical of romantasy because I'm not about insta lust. I find a lot of the time in romantasy, the love stories are really just lust stories. There's not much love there, but I've been told in this, so I hope I won't be disappointed. I've been told that this has a beautiful love story, a lot of yearning, and a really interesting magic system, which Rachel Gillig always does. In this one, it follows this main character who is a priestess, and they can see the future. They like do divination through water, I think, through a well. One day, knights from the kings arrive to get some predictions, to get like a divinatory message, and one of them ends up striking a deal with them as some of her sisters disappear, I think. So this is obviously like a love story, a romance story, but it also focuses on this like gothic world of like this divination priestess. I've been told this is great vibes, gothic, romanticy. Apparently there's a speaking gargoyle in this, and I was like, say no more, you know. Let me know if you guys have read The Knight and the Moth. I would love to have your thoughts. Quickly, another book I picked up when I went to the bookshop recently. Finally got my hand on the full version of Jules Verne, 20 Miles Under the Sea. This is the French version. I read this book when I was little, but I read the like children version, and I never actually read the grown-up version. But because this book is actually part of like the curriculum for from some student this year, they've brought out a full grown-up version, this one, with like pictures and stuff. And so when I saw it in my local bookshop, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pick it up and finally read the full real version. Because like I said, I've only read when I was little the version for kids, so I'm excited to actually read the full book. This is a classic, right? 20 Miles Under the Sea. Is this sci-fi? Would you guys call this a sci-fi? I feel like this is the ancestor of sci-fi, pioneer when it comes to those kind of like sci-fi stories. Excited to finally read this, and I love the fact that we have engravings in this. I think it's super cool. Super pumped. Obviously it's a classic. Another thing I'm trying to be better at next year is to read more classics, so this is definitely gonna go on my TBR pile. We have a book that's super hyped up, so I'm very excited to have found it in my local bookshop. Chinko by Min-ji Lee. This is historical fiction, and so this follows the story of a family across several generations, specifically one woman who's born in Korea, ends up traveling to Japan in the 1930s. This apparently is a very poignant story, a very touching story, and a very emotional story. I've been told that this is a story of compassion, resilience, human trials and errors, and just one that will tug at your heartstrings. This is, voted in one of the best books that came out recently in the last few years. So I'm expecting big things, honestly, because this is at the top of a lot of people's best books of the last 10 years. I'm expected to cry, and I'm excited to go into this beautiful like family epic story. And I'd love to know if you guys have read this, if you recommend it, what were your thoughts. Finally, the last couple of books in this haul that I'm gonna add to next year's TBR are two books by Octavia E. Butler, The Parable of the Sower and The Parable of the Talents. This is a duology. I have never read any Octavia E. Butler books, and this is something I want to remedy because I know that she's a very amazing writer. As someone who loves sci-fi and fantasy, I've been told that a must read, that she definitely has amazing stories. So I want to obviously get more familiar with her work. I was told that this was a good place to start. It was written in 1993. And it's a dystopia story, so on the lines of like Handmaid's Tale, 1984, but I've been told that this is creepily accurate to this day. It's like Octavia E. Butler almost predicted the future, and everything that's being told here in terms of dystopian future is actually a lot of what we go through in modern day 2025. So I'm very excited to explore this. Like I said, this is a dystopian story. It's about, America as it's falling apart in the distant future. Apparently there's mentions here of racism, climate change. This is, an end of the world story. That is very well known, I think, in America specifically. I wanted to read this one in English, so I picked up the English one. Let me know the other books from Octavia E. Butler you guys recommend. I know there's Kindred that I've been highly recommend as well, which I think is more a story about time travel. A black woman traveling back to slave plantation, if I'm not mistaken, so different vibes, but still very poignant, obviously. one, your thoughts on this one if you read it, let us know in the comments, and two, if you have any recommendation from this author, as I really want to be more acquainted with her works. So we're going to move on to decks, you guys. I have a lot of decks to share with you, mass market, indie. So like I said, I have quite a few decks to share with you. I've got some Kickstarter decks, some mass market decks, some indie decks. I've got tarot and oracle. There's a bit of everything this time. The first I'm going to start with is actually a deck that was sent to me for review. So thank you so much to Simi, who is the creator, if you're watching this. This is an indie deck. It's called the Purple Owl Tarot. This is created, illustrated, and written by Simran Chiber, also known as Simi. She is based in India, and so she has created this deck. I was very excited to say yes to, because I love cute decks, as you guys might know. If you didn't know, I've done a whole video about all of my cute decks. I'm sharing my collections with you guys slowly but surely. Cute decks video. Obviously, this should have been part of it. I didn't have it when I filmed it, but I love cute decks. I love cute things. So when Simi reached out and I saw these adorable little purple owls, I was like, yeah, this guy's got my whole name on it. I will gladly work with your deck. Here are the backs, beautiful purple, absolutely on brand for this theme of the purple owl. As the name suggests, obviously, the purple owl, this follows the story of these little cute beings. I'll make sure to leave all the links to her shop and everything where you can get this down below. And it follows very closely the RWS, so obviously if you're familiar with that system, it is going to be easy for you guys to read with it. Those little owls are really, really cute. And I especially love the facial expression in these. One thing that normally I'm not a huge fan of, and that really surprised me with this one, that normally I'm not someone who loves text on my cards, as someone who reads both intuitively and pulling from my own knowledge of tarot. Sometimes having text on the bottom can stop me through my reading, but I will say that this is proving me wrong, because I love actually how punchy yet endearing and charming the messages on the cards here. So for example, for Temperance, we have flow gently, mix wisely, now's not the time for wild experiments, choose calm over chaos. I love that because it's the perfect summary of the card, and yet it's not constricting you in your reading. It's like an added layer, but you're not stuck with like that imposed meaning, if that makes sense. And I've noticed it's that for all of the cards. I've noticed that I really, really like actually what Simi has written. Boom, false foundation down. Now build what's real. It's falling apart for a reason. Right? It's really cool the way it's written. I don't know, it feels like a friend speaking to you almost. This deck, you know, it doesn't feel like it's judging you, but yet it definitely has a lot of personality. So look at the Two of Wands. It says, on the edge of what's next, dream bigger and make it intentional. Plan your way into the unknown. It really feels like a friendly voice that will call you out when it's needed, and yet do so with a lot of loving, kind energy. I love this Five of Wands so much. The facial expressions are hilarious. So as you can see, this is very RWS coded. So if you're familiar with that system, you won't have any issue. I think this would be an amazing deck for a beginner, for example, someone who's starting to learn tarot, because not only does this follow traditional RWS, so you can use all the resources we find online to help you with all the symbolism and everything, it also has that text on the card, which feels very kind yet empowering and supportive. So I think this would be amazing for someone who is learning tarot. So yeah, this would be such a great gift, I think, to someone who wants to learn tarot. Obviously, maybe for a younger audience, this is so sweet. You know, if you have like a teenager or something who wants to learn tarot, this is amazing. The guidebook, we'll look at it later. Really awesome the way it's written. Just Simi's personality feels very endearing and supportive, and you see it through the guidebook and through the text written. Here it says, the universe sent a ping. It's playful, it's weird, and it might just be genius. How cute is that? A little bit cheeky, but in the best way, honestly, in the way that it feels supportive, right? It's like, it's gonna tell you the truth with a little bit of humor, but overall the energy feels very kind and very supportive. Here for the Five of Swords, I love that facial expression again. Such good expressions for those little owls. This is what winning without wisdom looks like. Messy, hollow, and heavier than expected. Really non-threatening. Those little purple owls are so cute. And also the text on the bottom of the card make the people who you are doing a reading for included. It's my belief that when you're reading for someone, it's an exchange. It's not just you reading the cards for someone. It's actually a cooperation, right? And so a deck like this can make other people feel very involved and included, and I think that's wonderful. Love that little bunny. Queen of Pentacles, she's the reason cozy and capable can exist in the same sentence. Care is her currency and business is booming. And finally, the King of Pentacles, he doesn't chase wealth, he grows it like a well-fed tree. Legacy, luxury, and a vault full of quiet confidence. We have obviously a little bit about the creator, Simi, telling you why she created the purple owl, like where the inspiration come from. She tells us a little bit about her alter ego, Mrs. P. Feather, who is like her tarot reader alter ego, which I think is really cute. What is a tarot, how to prepare the deck, explaining to you the archetypes of the court card. Yeah, 5 or 6 spreads in there. We have one, for example, the Owl Compass spread, which is really great for when you're feeling lost or scattered. So really good attention to detail in the guidebook. And then for majors or minors, we have the same amount of text, which I think is great. That's not always the case. For example, for the 8 of Cups, you can see we always have themes, so those are keywords. And then you have what she says, or, and so it says, the 8 of Cups, or when you love yourself enough to leave. Like a little summary of that card. I love that. And so here it says the 8 of Cups is that quiet moment when you know it's time to walk away, time to release what no longer nourishes. Maybe it once did, maybe it once felt like everything, but now it's hollow and your heart knows the truth. This card is about brave departure from relationship, jobs, dreams, identities, anything you've outgrown. And then it says others might not get it on the outside. It may look fine, but your soul is not here for fine. It's here for fulfillment. Sometimes this card shows up when you're avoiding the pain altogether, ghosting your own feelings, pretending the ache isn't there, but it is. And it's whispering, what if there's more? Then you always have the purple owl's tip. It's great, actually. It's like practical things you can do to put this card into practice. So here it says, make space for your truth, journal what you really feel beyond the shoulds. Then take one small step, however symbolic, towards what feels aligned. You don't need to have it all figured out, just start walking. And finally, you will have a reverse meaning as well. You can see the way that it's written, super supportive, super kind, compassionate, but also will help you to get out of a bad situation. So it really feels like a good friend is giving you a reading, and I love that. Thank you so much again, Simi, if you're watching. And of course, I'll make sure to leave where you guys can get this in the description box, and I'll make sure to use it on my second channel for you guys so we can have a little bit of the purple owl wisdom, as these little feathered beings are really sweet. Look, I forgot to say here on the sides it says, let the card speak, let the owl nod, let the weird wisdom in. A deck for the spiritually curious, the quietly bold, and the delightfully weird. I love that. Let's talk about a mass market oracle deck. I did a little trade with my friend, so I gave her some decks and she passed on some that she wasn't resonating with anymore. This is one of them. It's the Sustain Yourself Oracle by James Wanless. This is a collage deck, a nature collage deck. I'm in the middle of doing my collection video. I've done a cute decks collection video. I've done collage, so I'll make sure to leave that in the cards. I have done, what else have I done? I've done I can't remember you guys because I'm filming all of them. I've done esoteric decks. I have done my RWS clones and RWS inspired decks, which I don't know if that's out by the time you're watching this, but it's filmed. Next up will be my nature decks. And so anyway, there's a lot of collection videos coming out for you guys. If you've watched my collage the video, you will have seen this one. It's a really cool, very strange and quirky collage deck. I had never heard of it before. My friend gave it to me. Some cards I love, like the longevity one with this turtle is so cool. Some of them I don't love so much, like what the heck is going on here? That's my sleep demon right there. As you can see, nature themed, and she didn't give me the box because apparently the box was crazy big and so she got rid of it. But in the box it came with a big guidebook which is separate, and it came with this stud box, so she gave me the two separately. Apparently the whole packaging is a little bit insane, so she dumped the box before giving it to me. The full book that it comes with though is very interesting. I'm in the process of like reading through it at the moment and getting to know it a little bit more. As you can see on each of the card we have a keyword as to what's on the card. So here it's a snake, and then we have a keyword for your reading, so opportunity. This is called sustain yourself, because really it's about sustaining the earth and sustaining nature as a way to take care of us, and the way we take care of ourselves also has a consequence on the way we take care of the earth. It's a two-way street, and it's a little bit wild but also raw in energy, and I'm still getting to know it, so I don't really have much to say, in the sense that it's still a fairly new kind of addition to my collection. It has a ton of cards. I don't even know, maybe 100. I've still got all of those in my hands. There's a lot of cards. Yeah, I'm gonna say 100, I think, if I remember correctly. And the guidebook is really interesting. It's one I never see anyone share. I've never seen it anywhere. I literally wouldn't have known it if my friend hadn't mentioned it before. And I've never seen people either talk about it here. So I don't know, maybe it's me who wasn't aware, but it feels like a super hidden gem, this one. And yet some of the cards are really awesome, like this freedom card with the horses. I love this limitationless horizon card. If I'm not mistaken, this is by the same creator as the Voyager Tarot, which I don't have, but you recognize that kind of raw collage style. I might be wrong, but I feel like it is. Let's continue. Still in the decks that my friend passed on to me, we have a French mass market oracle deck, which I actually have been using non-stop. So this one I can give you a full review of, unlike the one I just shared with you. And that is L'Oracle des Possibles, literally the Oracle of Possibilities, by Sofrani Frakowiak and illustrated by Andrew Draw. I love this one. When my friend was like, I don't want it anymore, do you want it? I was like, yeah, sure. I'd never seen it before. I don't even think it's that old. I think it only came out maybe, I don't know, a month or two ago. She didn't resonate with it because she's realizing she doesn't like divination oracles. And I love that shit, you guys. You guys know, if you watch my channel, I love oracles that are dedicated to divination and to finding out the tea and what's going on. So for me, I was like, yes, please. This was screaming my name, and I'm so glad she didn't want it because I was very happy to take this off her hand. Here are the backs, super cute. I love the rose gold edging, it's really sweet, and the art style is awesome. So another reason why I love it, as I was saying, is definitely more tailored towards, I would say, divination, finding out what's going on in a situation. This is not a personal development deck. It's really meant to give you the vibe of what's going on next week, what's going on in my relationship, what's going on at work. Definitely more divinatory than personal development. The artwork is super modern. I love it. It's going so well with all of my more modern decks. I really adore the art style, and the choice of keyword is really awesome because we have a good mix of positive and negative. So here we have joy. Here we have moving, for example. We have timing dates. So we have 3 months, 1 month, all the way to 9 months. So if you want to time things, there's a yes and no card. This one is about soulmates. We have pregnancy. We have delay. This is stress, communication, perseverance, success. We have forgiveness. We have first step. As I said, you have a yes and no card. So this is a yes card. We have sadness. How beautiful is this sadness card? So stunning. Engagement. We have travel. And I've been using this deck non-stop this month since my friend has given it to me, and it slaps. This is giving me the tea the way a Sibylla might, in that direct vibe. Here we have conflict, for example. It is so good, such a good reader. I have found out so many things, and on top of that, look how beautiful it is. And also the fact that even though it's in French, I think you guys will be able to use it no problem. I find the art style is very clear. Even if you don't really speak French, you can see that this is doubts, right? The head in the clouds. So really awesome deck. I'm so glad my friend didn't want it anymore because I'm adoring it. We have message, we have home, someone coming back, we have lie and the past. And so for the guidebook, obviously it's all in French because this is a French deck. You can see it's full color and you have a little text for each of the cards. Really good, honestly. Great little deck. I think I'm gonna use it for 2026 year head reading on my other channel because it's such a good reader. It speaks so clearly. So I'm definitely gonna be using it. Let's continue with the mass market oracle decks and we'll finish with tarot. So mass market oracle decks, a couple of decks that have joined my tarot shelves. This little French creation, L'Oracle de Tulipe. This is by Sophie Guérive. Again, French mass market deck, so you can get it on amazon.fr. I'll make sure to leave a link down there for you guys. This is so cute, and I found it completely at random. Even in France, it's not very popular. I don't see my French tarot YouTube people share it. When I saw it listed up online, I had never seen it. There was no reviews of it, but I saw the cover and I was like, yeah, I'm curious. So I kind of took a chance on this one, as there wasn't any reviews or anything at the time. I think now a couple of people have reviewed it in French, but at the time there wasn't. Definitely took a chance, but I saw that box and I was like, come on, this is so cute. I want to know more. So it has 63 cards, and Tulip is this little being. It's the name of the main character. The guidebook, first of all. Look, it's like a comic book telling you how to read the cards. It's so cute. So it's all about those little beings. We have those like little creatures, and then for each of the cards you have a little text, obviously in French, as this is a French deck, but super cute concept. I love the beginning being all comic book style. Here are the backs, so beautiful. Like I said, we have 63 cards. The way this is set up is that you have an image and you have a keyword, and the keyword tell you what's on the card. So here we have the whale, here we have the weed, we have the comet, here we have the sun, the moon, the star, we have source. There's some of the guide. It's so cute. Makes me think of that movie with the llamas. Oh my god, what is that Disney movie? The Emperor something. I forgot the name in English. You know the one. The Emperor Llama something. So fun. We have the Ouroboros. As you can see, what keyword, one image. Everything in this very quirky art style. Like, it's not childlike to me. I don't know how to say it. It doesn't feel childlike, this deck, even though I know the hand drawing can give that childlike energy. It does feel energetically a little bit more grown up than some of my hand-drawn decks, and yet I love the choices of keywords. There's a really good variety here with, like I said, 63 cards of concept, and obviously the guidebook tells you what this refers to, but I think you could also intuitively assign meanings to those things. So like here we have the stone. You could assign a meaning to that. For example, you're intuitively, so you're kind of, you can read this how you want. Either you read it intuitively by assigning your own meaning to that, to the mountain or to the guide and to the boat, etc., etc., or you use the guidebook, which obviously gives you ways you can read this. Really cool, quirky deck. One of my most quirky decks I think I own. I'm so glad I took a chance because I literally didn't know anything about it. I just saw the box and I was like, yeah, it looks cute and fun and funky, and yeah, it's so cool. I really love the fact that we have a lot of the same characters. Like there's a little bear, there's this little bird with the big beak, you have this one who's there as well, there's a little white owl, so you do have the repeated characters throughout of this little world, and it's just really cool, you guys. Really sweet. We have this mole here, and look at this bat, the thief. And this has a really good balance again of light and shadow, so this is a very well balanced deck. I've done some readings with it. It was like bam, straight to the point. Here's what you need to know, and let's not dilly-dally about it. So that's what I said. Whilst it looks sweet and childlike, the energy of it, the egregore of it feels quite grown up in the way that it delivers the messages. So that is l'Oracle de Tulip. Beautiful box, beautiful production. Honestly, super impressed with this one. We have another French mass market creation. You guys know I love to shout out great French decks when I can, and this is actually a deck dedicated to past lives. Something I don't have many decks dedicated to, so when I saw that this was coming out, I was very intrigued. It's called Les Mémoires de l'âme, literally the memories of your soul. It's by Kevin Piragno and illustrated by Maëlys Hersan. And this is a chunky beast. Okay, we have how many cards in this one? 69 cards. Nice. We have a 316 pages guidebook. You're gonna see it's like a full book. Comes in this beautiful clamshell box. We are given a little bag, and like I said, the guidebook is very chunky. They are not playing about. Really great. For each of the cards you have full page color and you have full text and then extra explanation as to who you could be in a past life. As like I said, this is fully dedicated to past life experiences, but it's really cool, the concept, because it's not your stereotypical past life. I think it takes things a little bit more archetypally than other past life oracle I've seen, which is why I wanted to give it a shot. We have different cards in this one, you're gonna see. They have different colored backings. We have origin cards, we have histories of the past, so these could be like what you've lived through, your wounds of a past life, and then you have memories of light. So histories of the past might be the cards, the wounds you're still carrying from a past life, and light memories are the good things, you know, the glimmers, the healing that you're still carrying from a past life. So this is not really dedicated to you lived in Egypt and you were a pharaoh, or you lived in England and you were making beer. You know, it's not about that. It's not about finding out necessarily the kind of life you lived, but more so hurts and traumas and wounds that you've taken with you, but also the healing and good things and blessings that you're carrying with you from your past life. Okay, if that makes sense. So I really appreciate this kind of work on past life, because that's what I like to do anyway. When I do past life readings, I don't really like to focus on the gender you were or where you lived. I want more to find out the kind of life you lived and what you learned or haven't learned that might still have an effect in your present life. That's how I like to explore past life, and this is really a deck I think seems to be doing that quite well. So anyway, so as you can see, you know, different backings for different categories. The origin category, so if you're dealing with a certain memory or a certain situation that's coming up, a pattern or something, it will tell you where it comes from. So if it comes from a past life, if it comes from a family, like intergenerational, if it's an intergenerational pattern, if it comes from something inside you, a talent that is within, if it's a new learning you're dealing with, if it's your present life. So this is all about the origins, right? Maybe it's a soul contract, something you have signed before you incarnated, if you believe in that. And then we are dealing with, and then we're going straight on to the other category, which is, I will say, traumas and wounds that you might be carrying from a past life. So for example, we have lack and individualism. Here we have the mask. Here we have secrets, betrayal, feeling locked up. We have judgment and justice. We have intrusion. Look with the eye here. We have feeling isolated from the world. We have challenge, a vow of silence, failure. So those are all things that you might have gone through in your past, in a past life, a certain past life that could have an impact on this life. Really interesting. Also super cute art style, feels very comic book vibe, and I love it. This is my favorite card with like the Three Musketeers. This is loyalty. We have manipulation. So lots of different themes, loss and abandon. Really interesting, I think, to really explore different, obviously, ideas and concepts when it comes to past lives and our current lives even. Here we have regret and respect and rules. Here we have toxic pattern. And then we move on to the green one with the light. And as we have little candles, these are the positive blessings and attributes you might have carried from a past life into this life that could help you right now. So here we have charisma. Here we have an old soul, being like you have, you know, this is not your first rodeo. We have talent and inspiration, your creative side. This is entrepreneurial side. You have, you know, you're good at business, things like that, because maybe in a past life you were already a business owner. Teaching. So obviously you have a teaching archetype, a teaching quality to yourself. We have legitimacy. I think you guys would call this legitimacy, or just feeling like you're worthy of something. It's you're worthy of, you know, here you're worthy of your crown. We have travel and movement. We have changing of conscience, etc., etc. As you can see, super cute art style, really interesting concept. I haven't really explored this properly because, like I said, the end of the year is feeling very chaotic, so I need to dedicate more time to obviously do some readings for myself or friends. Of course, I'll be offering a pick-up pile reading on the Waves of Your Soul readings channel. We're gonna be doing a past life reading very soon using this deck as soon as I've got a better grasp on it, because I think it's gonna be so interesting, and I love the idea of exploring past life without being tied to gender or eras or places, etc., but more focusing on the lessons we might carry, the archetype we might be playing out. Let's move on to tarot decks. If you watch some of my videos, you might have seen me already sneak peeking it. It's the Lady Pirates Tarot. I've had it since like pretty much straight after my last haul, so I've been using it consistently in November and in December. This was a Kickstarter deck I backed by the same people who did the Baroque Tarot, so Baroque Publishing. As the name suggests, this is a deck that talks about lady pirates. And I am a huge fan of pirate stories, so obviously when I saw this Kickstarter, I was like, take my money. I have a good guidebook that tells you who are on the majors, as the major arcana is specifically inspired by real historical figures, real lady pirates, and the minors is more, I would say, RWS clone-like, so more typical of your RWS meanings, still in this swashbuckling pirate world. It does come also with a PDF guidebook that goes into a lot more details as to the life stories of these lady pirates, because like I said, the major arcana is actually fully inspired by real women who existed in history, and so the PDF guidebook gives you a lot more details about that. Here are the backs, fully reversible. We have golden edges with hollow, really good quality, as with all of the decks I've had. I mean, I only have to have this one and the Baroque Tarot, but so far, production quality from these creators, I've never been disappointed. This, as you're gonna see, very RWS coded, you know, but all of the majors are real women who existed. We have pirates, we have French pirates, English pirates, we have a Chinese pirate. There's like pirates from all over the world, and I have had such a good time learning more about these real women who have had an impact on the story of piracy, as these are oftentimes, I think, overlooked women, right? We don't talk a lot about women pirates, sadly. I mean, we don't talk a lot about pirate story anyway, generally speaking, and yet I find it fascinating because I live on a tropical island, so obviously the pirate stories we are here are fascinating, and I've always grown up hearing about pirates and their stories and their lives and the complicated lives that they lived. When you're reading like real stories of piracy, you feel like you're reading fiction, even though it's non-fiction. It's crazy, the lives they've had, the betrayals and the ups and downs, and you know, they went from being illegal to being legal to being friends to then being enemies. There's so much going on and so many interesting sides to piracy story and to piracy history, but one very overlooked one has been women role in history, and yet these women's had super interesting life. This is why I wanted to back this deck. I'm having zero regret because I love a good pirate deck. On top of that, I love the fact that we have different skin tones, we have different body type. It's super cute. All of these women's look so badass. Even if you don't know who these women's are, doesn't matter, you know, it's RWS coded. I've used this deck a lot all of November, pretty much for the Sagittarius season. I've been using this consistently. I've done readings for my friends with it, and it was very clear, truthful, as you would expect a punchy pirate deck to read like. It was just like that. I love this Knight of Swords. She's so badass. I'm having such a good time with this. It's a good time. The last couple of decks are from a little order I made from Salon des Arcanes, kind of like my Christmas present from me to me, just earlier than Christmas, because I wasn't sure if he was gonna have those decks on stock for a long time, and I'm glad I did pick it up sooner than Christmas, because one of them I think is already out of stock. He's gonna restock at some point, but I think one of them is already like sold out. But you guys can get this deck from other sellers and stuff like that. It's just that it's easier for me to shop from him. So 2 indie decks, and yeah, super happy I treated myself as an early Christmas present. The first one I got from Salon des Arcanes is the Scarab and Dahlia. This is an indie deck, a collage deck. This deck I think came out this year if I'm not mistaken. collection. I have been looking at it ever since it came out. You can get it on Etsy directly from Joanna, I believe, but the shipping to me was crazy expensive, obviously with tariffs and everything. So when I saw that Nicola had some copies, this is the one that's already sold out, but I'm sure he will restock. When I saw that he had some copies of it, I was like, let me grab it now, because at least shopping from him, the shipping to Reunion Island is a lot more affordable than trying to get stuff from Etsy directly from America now, because again, tariffs. I've been looking at this deck ever since it came out. A lot of people had done reviews, and I was literally drooling behind my screen thinking, one day I'll get it, one day, and finally it's in my hands. It comes with a little guidebook with some keywords and some explanation as to what's on the card. For the majors, we do have elements, planet, and zodiac as well. It comes with extra cards as well, which I can't show you because of YouTube's ridiculous AI algorithm stopping us from showing nude images. But trust me that it comes with extra lovers card and extra death card. I actually left all the death card in the deck because I love them all and I can't choose, so we might see them. But you have options for lovers, like depending on the kind of couple you prefer. And if I didn't say before, this is a collage deck, and I've just filmed my collage deck video, so obviously if I had received this on time, it would have been part of that. But here we go, this will be part of my collection video next year. As obviously this arrived after I filmed my collage decks. I had been very keen on getting my hands on this because I think the collage in this one is very powerful and potent and interesting. So when I saw that, I love this Page of Swords, it's so cute. When I saw that Nicola stocked Joanna's deck, didn't hesitate. So here we have more Egyptian inspiration, and there's another one that feels a little bit more I would say liminal space inspired, and I love them both, so I couldn't choose. Look at this hermit, it's so beautiful. I've watched like so many reviews of this deck, so many walkthroughs, and Lisa did a really good one, Lisa Papes, that I enjoyed watching. And as soon as I watched everyone's reviews, I was like, I want this deck. Quite fussy with collage decks, you wouldn't think so with the amount of them I have, but it's true. I am a little bit fussy when it comes to collage decks. I have to vibe with the art style and the intention behind the collage, and with this one I really like the mix of like black and white engravings or statues, etc., with colorful backgrounds. So I'm excited to read with it. I've only done an interview of this one, so I'll be using it properly later on. This is the lovers card I chose. I love it so much. It's very sensual and beautiful. The Empress is also beautiful. I've had to hide a couple of cards, you guys, because, you know, YouTube doing its patriarchal bullshit. I'm unable to share cards that may have nude people on them. This, I think, is my favorite card, the Six of Cups. There's so much in there that looks joyful and a celebration of childhood that it makes me super happy. It makes me smile. I also love this Knight of Swords with this pink sunset background, stunning. Cardstock is matte, a little bit stiff, definitely not one I would recommend riffle shuffling with, but I don't riffle shuffle anyway, so not a problem. This beautiful back with this carob and the dahlia for the name of the deck. So gorgeous creation here by Joanna. So happy to have my hands on it. Let me know if you guys have read with this one. If you have, let us know the kinds of readings you've done with it. Did you do career, love, day-to-day? This is the other death card. Honestly, they're both so good. I couldn't choose, you guys. They're both amazing, so I'm gonna leave both of them in. One I'm excited to use next year, because, you know, next year is not that far away. And the last deck I wanted to share with you guys is an absolute favorite right now. I can't stop using it. It's my main deck for December. I'm obsessed. It is the Tarot of Color. I know nothing about this deck, just that when I saw it on Nicola's shop, I was scrolling through Salon des Arcanes, and I was like, I want to treat myself to a deck for Christmas. I saw that he had the Scarab and Dahlia, so I was like, yeah, let me add that to cart. And then I saw this one, and I was like, whoa, I've never seen this before, but this is screaming my name. You're gonna see, because it's literally inspired by colors. So it's an indie deck, I think. I don't know if this was a Kickstarter or what. I've got no clue. I don't even know who created it. I'll try and find some information. Like I said, got it from Salon des Arcanes. It doesn't even come with a full guidebook. It comes with one of those, which is still great though, even though it's small, because for each of the card, you have the name of the card, but you also have the color, as this is called Tarot of Colors. So it tells you why this specific color. So for example, for strength, it's got golden yellow and burnt orange in color, and it's linked to inner strength, courage, compassion, and patient resilience. You do have the explanation as to why the colors were chosen, which is great, and you have that for majors and minors. But again, there's not even a name of who created it. I just saw it on Salon des Arcanes page, and I was like, wow, I need this in my life. First up, look at these edges, you guys. I have never seen this in my life, okay? Look at it. Oh my god. Mind blown. Mind blown, okay? This is crazy. This is crazy. I love it so much. These are my favorite edging I've ever seen in my life. So cool. Here are the backs. I don't know if you can tell, but we have a little bit of an eye here that's pressed. And as the name suggests, it's a deck inspired by colors. And I literally saw this on the shop and I was like, add to cart. Literally, I need this in my life. Then I saw Nicola do an Instagram post about this as well before I received my deck, and I was like, thank God I purchased it, because I would have massively regretted not getting my hands on it, just because it's so cool. It looks so cool. So as you can see, each card is very minimalistic, and we have little like beings drawn in black, but the rest of the card is in full color. Very minimalistic compared to my usual style, and yet it's so evocative. It's really intuitive, and it just speaks to me on a soul level that I can't even tell you why, because you guys know I'm a maximalist at heart. So yeah, this is colorful, but the art style feels quite minimalistic, right? I mean, compared to the collage deck I just shared with you, for example. But the choices of color feel very intentional and very intuitive and potent. When I read with it, I'm getting so many messages, channeled messages. I feel like I really can connect myself to, you know, source, the universe, whatever you guys like to call it. And I can really channel messages super easily. Look at this 10 of Cups. Oh, maybe it's because I have such a big affiliation with color. Like, I'm a huge color lover. So maybe this is why this speaks to me so much. And I'm shocked at how much I love it. And I'm shocked at how it speaks to me, because I didn't expect this to be such a huge hit for me as it is. And yet, as soon as I received it, I shuffled it, and it was like, wow, you know? Some decks are like that. They just feel like they're speaking directly to you. Look at this devil. Oh, so good. And so this is one of them. This is one of them. As soon as I opened the box, I shuffled the cards. I was like, wow, you and I are going to be great friends. This is one that if it arrived a little bit sooner, it definitely would be in my top decks of the year. But because I've only had it since, like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, it feels wrong, you know, to compare it to decks that I've had for months. So maybe I can include it next year, as I have a feeling I will be using this a ton. I don't want to put it away. Right now I'm obsessed, and I really want to use it for you guys as well on the Waves of Your Soul reading. So I'm going to be using it for my 2026 reading. I'm sure it's going to be one of the options, because I just love reading with it so much. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the colors. I'm not sure, because, you know, I know it feels quite simplistic to my usual taste. I mean, you know, I'm a chaotic deck goblin. I like a lot of things, but it is more pared down than what I normally like. But there's something about those colors that just really speak to me on a soul level. So I wanted to finish on that because it's an absolute joy. And look at this tower. I love it so much with the orange. So cool. We'll finish on the last 3 cards. King of Swords, beautiful with these blues. Page of Swords, also in these blues, beautiful. And the last one, 2 of Pentacles in these earthy tones. Come on. Perfect. So that's the last deck I wanted to share with you today. I want to say a huge thank you if you're still here. This is a long video, so thank you if you stuck around. Let me know the new decks you guys got, or new books you've acquired, the decks you're working with at the moment, the decks that are on your Christmas wish list. Got myself my own decks this Christmas, so I'm very happy. I got myself good presents, as you can see. I can't wait to chat with you in the comments. As per usual, thank you so much for being here. Until next time, I'm sending you so much good vibes, and keep navigating the webs of your soul. Bye!